Random House Audio presents The Bourne Identity by Robert Ludlum. Read for you by Darren McGavin.
Paris, July 10th. The New York Times reported today that France has expelled 3 high-ranking Cuban diplomats in connection with the worldwide search for a man called Carlos, who is believed to be an important link in an international terrorist network. The suspect, whose real name is thought to be Ilich Ramirez Sanchez, is being sought in the killing of 2 French counterintelligence agents and a Lebanese informer. July 7, 1975, syndicated dispatch, a dragnet for assassin. London from the Associated Press. Guns, girls, grenades, and good suits, a fat billfold, airline tickets to romantic places, and nice apartments in a half-dozen world capitals. This is the portrait emerging of a jet-age assassin being sought in an international manhunt. The hunt began when the man answered his doorbell in Paris and shot dead 2 French intelligence agents and a Lebanese informer. It has put 4 women into custody. The trawler plunged into the angry swells of the dark, furious sea like an awkward animal trying desperately to break out of an impenetrable swamp. The waves rose to Goliathan heights, crashing into the hull with the power of raw tonnage. The white sprays caught in the night sky cascaded downward over the deck under the force of the night wind. Everywhere there were sounds of inanimate pain. The animal was dying. 2 abrupt explosions pierced the sounds of the sea and the wind in the vessel's pain. They came from the dimly lit cabin that rose and fell with its host body. A man lunged out of the door, grasping the railing with one hand, holding his stomach with the other. A second man followed, bracing himself in the cabin door. He raised a gun and fired again. The man at the railing whipped both his hands up to his head, arching backward under the impact of the 4th bullet. The trawler's bow dipped suddenly into the valley of 2 giant waves, lifting the wounded man off his feet. He twisted to his left, unable to take his hands away from his head. The boat surged upward, bow and midships more out of the water than in it, sweeping the figure in the doorway back into the cabin. A 5th gunshot fired wildly. The wounded man screamed, his hands now lashing out wildly at anything he could grasp, his eyes blinded by blood and the unceasing spray of the sea. His legs buckled as his body lurched forward. The boat rolled violently leeward, and the man whose skull was ripped open plunged over the side into the madness of the darkness below. It was late afternoon, the sun a fireball in the west, the air still and too damp, too hot. Above the piers and facing the harbor was a cobblestone street and several blemished white houses, separated by overgrown grass shooting up from dried earth and sand. What remained of the verandas were patched latticework and crumbling stucco supported by hastily implanted pilings. The residences had seen better days a number of decades ago, when the residents mistakenly believed Ile de Pointe-Noire might become another Mediterranean playground. It never did. Dr. Geoffrey Washburn was sitting by the railing in front of the last house in the row, his back to the harbor below. His movements were slow, not because he was drunk, which he was, his attention entirely fixed upon the man who was reclining in the chair opposite. He knew that it was important to make no jarring note, no sudden noise or physical movement that might frighten the patient into a psychological regression. The next few minutes would be as delicate as the surgical procedures he had performed. The doctor in him was prepared for the moment. Well, I've told you over and over it will take time. The more you fight it, the more you crucify yourself, the worse it will be. You speak English. I thought you would. American or Canadian is what I suspected. Your dental work didn't come from the UK or Paris. In your coma, you spoke 3 different languages, English, French, and some damn twangy thing I presume is Oriental. And yet you do not know, you cannot remember your own name. You're multilingual, you're at home in various parts of the world. Think geographically. What's most comfortable for you? Obviously English. I've written down some words. Listen to them. I'll say them phonetically. Ma qua tam quan ki sa. Say the first thing that comes to mind. Nothing. What do you want? The patient sat forward in his chair. You know something I don't know. Washburn smiled. About you, yes, a great deal. And very little of it makes sense. I wasn't sure you were ready to hear. I'm not sure now. Shall we begin with that rather acceptable-looking head of yours? The face is not the one you were born with. Under a thick glass, surgery always leaves its mark. You've been altered, old man. You have a pronounced chin. I dare say there was a cleft in it. It's been removed. Your nose is an English nose, at one time slightly more prominent than it is now. It was thinned ever so subtly. Your very sharp features have been softened, the character submerged. Do you understand what I'm saying? No. Well, try this then. Change the color of your hair, you change the face. Yes, there are traces of discoloration, brittleness, dye. Wear glasses and a mustache, you're a different man. I'd guess you were in your middle to late 30s, but you could be 10 years older or 5 younger. Washburn paused, catching the man's reactions, as if wondering whether or not to proceed. Your eyesight's perfectly normal, and yet your eyes show signs of prolonged use of contact lenses. Why? Certain types of contact lenses are designed to change the color of the eyes, and certain types of eyes lend themselves more readily than others to the device. Nature favored you in this regard. Yours appear hazel gray in one light, blue in another. You'd think no further alteration was required. The patient was calm. Required for what? Well, for changing your appearance. Very professionally, I'd say. Visas, passport, driver's licenses, switched at will. All within that recognizable category in which the faces are blurred with repetition. You have the body of a man who's been subjected to physical stress. Under other circumstances, I might judge you to be a laborer, a fisherman even. But your range of knowledge, I dare say your intellect, rules out such things. The man got out of the chair with difficulty, pushing himself up with his arms, holding his breath as he arose. Why do I get the idea you're leading up to something? Something else. Well, come with me. Washburn preceded the man through the living room to the door in the rear wall that led to the dispensary. Inside, he went to the corner and picked up an antiquated projector, placing it on the small desk and inserting the plug into the wall socket. I had this brought in with the supplies from Marseille. It's hardly the best equipment, but it serves a purpose. Washburn snapped on the projector's light. A bright square appeared on the white wall. He then inserted a small piece of celluloid behind the lens. The square was abruptly filled with magnified letters. Gemeinschaft Bank, Bahnhofstrasse, Zurich, 07-17-12-0-14-26-0. The nameless man looked puzzled. What is it? Well, this is a very small negative. My guess would be half the size of a 35mm film. It was implanted, surgically implanted, beneath the skin above your right hip. The printed letterhead and address is a bank, the Gemeinschaft Bank. The numbers are in handwriting, standard procedure. It's your signature, even if it does not tell us your name. I have done all that I can to help you recover your health and your memory. I'm afraid that the rest is up to you. It is often the case with victims of amnesia. You must try to remember, but without crucifying yourself when you fail. Moments of stress will be useful, perhaps, as will familiar places and people. Apart from the few observations about your person, which I have tried very hard to explain and cannot, this film is the only bit of concrete evidence you have to go on. It doesn't say who you are, but if you are lucky, it might lead you to that knowledge. And who knows what else. With it, you can open a bank vault in Zurich.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?